Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. So today I really was keen on the idea of doing a full face of makeup using only one brand. I've seen a couple people do this lately. I saw somebody do it with Hourglass. I saw somebody do it with MAC. I've seen people do this all over the place, full faces of one brand, and I really wanted to give it a go. I can't remember if I've ever done this before. I tried to look back in my videos and I couldn't find it, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. I could have just not looked hard enough. But when I was looking through my makeup, I could only find one brand that I had pretty much everything in, like a product in every category, almost. I'm missing one thing, but I have a substitution for it. And even if you couldn't read it in the title, if you know me and have been here with me for any length of time, you'll know that the one brand that I have a ton of is MAC. So we're going to be doing a full face of MAC makeup today. I've already pulled out a ton of MAC products just out of my drawers. I've got lip colors, I've got eyeshadows, I have a ton of stuff. I'm trying as much as I can to either use permanent items, or if they are limited edition, they're still available now, or whatever. We're gonna try and do this and see how it goes. So I'll zoom you guys in a bit and we're just gonna get started right away. So in terms of primers, I don't really have a MAC primer. The only thing I do have is my MAC Strobe Cream. This particular one is in the shade Peachlite. It is my favorite. I also have Silver Light as well. I've had Pink Light in the past. I've never owned Gold Light or Red Light, I think is the other one. But that's just because my skin, I do have a more neutral undertone, but if anything, it's definitely a little bit more pinky peachy than it is yellow. And the red for me is just a lot. I honestly think it looks the best on deeper skin tones, but that's just a personal opinion. I love MAC Strobe Cream. I use this stuff all the time. This one's almost empty actually. Because it does provide you like a hydration. It settles in really nice. It doesn't mix weird with foundation or anything like that, and it gives you like a little bit of a glow. And the other product I have is actually something that I had decluttered in that Spontaneous Declutter series, and that is my MAC Prep and Prime Pore Refiner Stick. Honestly, a lot of the reason I pulled this out is because I was looking for some kind of a pore filling primer, and I do like this one. It is really good at blurring out your pores. I'm hoping I should have gotten closer while I was doing this. I'll try and get you guys close in on my nose so you can kind of see some of the action. So obviously it's not getting rid of them. It's not quite as strong as like Benefit Professional or something like that, but it does just kind of blur them out a little bit, which is really all I need. Now the foundation I happen to be using isn't one that settles into pores very much, so that's okay. This does leave a kind of greasy texture to the skin, if I'm completely honest. That's kind of one of the reasons I don't love it that much, but it is still a really good product, and it's kind of okay. I would say it's better for dry skins than if you've got like oily skin or something like that, because it does add a little bit of excess oil, so that's just something to be aware of. So now that that is all done, we're gonna get into foundation. So the foundation I'm gonna be using is like my favorite foundation, and it is the MAC Face and Body. I have got two shades. One is like it's bigger because it's the one I normally go for. Normally I also have a bit more color to my face. I have a bit more of a tan. Obviously I haven't been able to go tanning. The weather hasn't been nice enough to go outside or anything like that, so I am really lacking in some color right now. So I have the shade N5. It's kind of a nice way to give a natural bronze to your face without adding a ton of powder, but my more like correct shade is N3. Honestly, this one still might be a little, oh my goodness, look at that. It just bubbled over. No big deal. I'm just gonna wipe it off with my hand because I don't want to waste that product. And I am just going to stick it all in this pan here. This is how I normally do it, or I can just, whatever, put it on my face. So I'm just going to grab a MAC 141S brush. This one came out in the Next to Nothing collection, which I also used to have that foundation. Just I've kind of gotten away from it over the years. I think they still do make it. But as my tastes in makeup have changed a little bit, I do prefer something more like this where it's a little bit more full coverage. It's not at all full, well, okay, let me restart while I'm doing this. It's not full coverage at all. It's very buildable, so you can build to a fuller coverage, and it's super natural looking, and it kind of leaves a really pretty finish to the skin. It's not matte. It's kind of got a glow to it. It's very hydrating, like it feels really nice without feeling sticky or anything like that. Dior, I think, makes a similar product to this. Their Backstage Face and Body is kind of, it comes in a similar, what you would call packaging, like a similar shape and type and whatever. So I don't know if it's actually the same. I think at one point I was gonna get it, but it was just so much money. But this one is a little bit less expensive, so it's better. So I'm just putting that literally everywhere. It's actually a pretty good match for me right now, so I'm not finding that I'm having to, oh my goodness. There we go. Sorry, there was a bubble on top that I wanted to pop. Alrighty, so now that that's done, we're going to go into concealer. So I have two concealers. Now normally when I do like all the time makeup, I like to use my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer, which comes in a pot. This one also comes in a pot. So this is my MAC Studio Finish Concealer. I wear the shade NW20. Apparently this expired in August of 2019, but that's okay. We're gonna fly with it anyway, just fly. So I've just picked some up on a beauty sponge, and I do find actually that this is the best way to apply this particular concealer. Like, can you guys already see how much that side has like improved from this side? Just like crazy. So this concealer doesn't crease, it doesn't cake if you do it properly. And like I said, I found, and this is recently that I figured this out, that the best way to apply this kind of a concealer is to use a damp makeup sponge of some sort, just because I've done it with a brush before, and honestly you just get too much product and it does cake up because it is very, very full coverage. It is a thicker formula. So if you do it with a brush, you're gonna get too much and you're gonna have a hard time blending it in. And if you do it with your finger, you're just gonna find it blends away. So I really do find that a damp beauty blender is the best way, but obviously, you know, that's just a personal choice. So the concealer I've got is, this is my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. I love this concealer. This is in the shade NW20. I've used this actually pretty recently, which is strange because I don't use it all the time, just because I don't like the container. I've talked about this before on my channel, that the pump on this really annoys me, and for being such an amazing concealer, like, I just wish MAC would put it in like a doe foot or something like that, just something that made it a little bit easier to apply, but whatever. It is what it is, not a big deal. And I know that some of their concealers they have put into a bottle with a doe foot, so I don't know why they just wouldn't follow suit with this one, but again, I don't do that. I'm not the product specialist at MAC or anything, whoever makes that decision. But if you're listening out there, put it in a doe foot applicator. It would make my life so much easier. So like I said, again, that is a super, super full coverage foundation. A little bit goes a long way. But it does a really, really nice job of canceling out any dark circles, any redness, discoloration, anything like that. I love that. So unfortunately, the one product I don't really have is a setting powder, but what I do have, and we're gonna have to make do, is a Mineralize Skin Finish. This is in the shade Medium Plus, which is my shade. So I'm just going to take some of that on a brush and sort of try and use that to set my foundation and my under eye powder. I don't know how well this is gonna work. This does give a really, really nice natural finish to the skin. It's kind of like a bit lighter version of Studio Fix powder, which is also a fantastic powder foundation. If you are into powder foundations, they're not my favorite, but I do have my Studio Fix still, and I do really like it. I'm seeing a little caking and creasing kind of under the eyes here. I think that might be the powder, because if I were using like a Laura Mercier, just kicked my camera, my apologies, a Laura Mercier like translucent setting powder, I don't think I would be having that issue genuinely, but whatever. So we're gonna do eyebrows really quickly. Actually, before I do that, I am just going to prime my lips. So I've got my MAC Lip Prep and Prime. I love this product. A lot of brands do make products like this. I think Anastasia Beverly Hills has one for sure, but a lot of other brands do make these now. It's just like a clear lip balm. Basically what it does is it gives your lips a layer of moisture, a layer of hydration. It gives the lipstick something to cling to, and it also prevents some feathering. But the one thing I will say is this one in particular, which is the one that I have the most experience with, is very, very hydrating. It's very slick. You can definitely feel it. So you don't want to put this on and then immediately putting a lipstick on afterwards because it won't stick properly. You want to give this time to soak into your lips, to let them absorb it, to let them dry down a little bit, and then put a lipstick over top. So let's get into eyebrows. So I've got two MAC products. So I have the Luxe Brow Liner. This is in Strawberry Blonde. And then I also have my MAC Shape and Shade Brow Tint in Fling. This is my favorite brow product of all my brow products. It's got a felt liner on one end. So you just do like little flecks almost. It's really good for if you're trying to, you know, fill in, if you're trying to create some shape to your brows, draw in little hairs. It's great. Now these products do take a little bit of time to kind of get a feel for, to get used to. That's not just this product, that's all felt like brow products. I know. Ooh, I'm caking all up in here too. Okay, maybe don't use that pore refining thing, or maybe I missed that area with foundation. I don't know, my face is separating quite a bit right now, which I'm not super stoked on. Anyway, what I was saying is I know Urban Decay makes a version of this as well. And they're always, you know, they seem very, very intense when you first try them. But like anything, it just takes a little bit of practice. You know, I'm not fortunate enough to be able to wing a liner, but for those people that are, I'm sure it didn't just come naturally the first time. I'm sure it's something that took a lot of practice to get used to get a feel for. I'm just trying to blend in a little bit more foundation just to clean up some of these areas. Okay, so eyebrows are done. For cheeks today, I talk about these all the time. These are my MAC Glow Play blushes. I want to use the shade Totally Synced. It's like this really pretty pinky kind of purple color. So these go on really nicely with a brush, but they also go on beautifully with the finger, and I don't do that very often, so we're going to do that today. It's for like a more, you know, pigmented look. You would use your finger, and for something a little bit more sheared out, I would use a brush, to be honest. They're very buildable. They're such a cool product. They're almost like a cream to a powder, but they kind of have like this gel bounce kind of texture. The pigmentation is just gorgeous. I'm sure you guys can see that. I think I went a little overboard. I know why I went overboard. I didn't bronze first. Stupid. Stupid. Sam, you're a goofball. But yes, these are fantastic. I have not heard of anybody who doesn't like these, to be completely honest. They're very, very popular. I know Jessica Braun just put up her like faves and fails, and they were in her favorites. They're amazing. I cannot urge people enough. If you haven't tried them, please go out and try them. So for bronzer, we're going to use my MAC Matte Bronze Bronzing Powder. This is like my OG bronzer. I have a couple other bronzers from MAC, but they are both limited edition. One is very, very sparkly. It's from the MAC with Patrick Star Christmas collection. And then I also have my MAC Aladdin bronzer. I don't even know if it's meant to be a bronzer. Does it say? It says powder blush, but like for me, that's a bronzer color. I could see maybe for somebody else it might be considered, I guess any color can be considered a blush. Blush and lipstick are one of those things, like and eyeshadows and stuff like that, where like any color could be considered, you know, pretty much. Well, I don't know if you'd ever wear a green blush, but who am I to judge? I feel a little better. I feel like that also blended out some of that blush, took down the intensity a little bit. This looks super like dark and orange in the pan, but honestly, it blends out beautifully. It's not super powdery. It's so, so nice. For a highlighter today, I thought I would play with one that came out in the Loud and Clear collection. I think that this is still available. I'm really sorry if I'm wrong. This is the Hot Damn-Oiselle Davignon Extra Dimension Skin Finish. If you were looking for an extra dimension skin finish and you couldn't get this one, they have a couple others that are similar. I think Superb is kind of pinky. Show Gold has a little bit of a pink gold reflex in it. I love these. They just look so beautiful. Like, they're a lot of highlight. You can definitely see them, but not in a blinding way. I mean, they're very buildable, but they also just give you like this natural, beautiful, like light kissed kind of a thing. I just love them so, so much. No surprise to you guys, for priming my eyes, I am using my MAC Painterly Paint Pot today. Because especially on a day where I'm using only MAC products, why would I use anything else? This is my favorite eyeshadow base of all time. I love it. I don't know what I would do without it. For eyes today, I wanted to do something like I used to do. I used to, because I have green eyes, do a lot of purples. And I realized I haven't really done a purple eyeshadow look lately. Like, it's been quite a while. So I wanted to stick with mainly, if not only, purples. So I pulled a ton of different shadows out, some browns, some purples, and I also pulled out one of my ×9 palettes. This is the Burgundy ×9, but there's some kind of purplish shades in here, so we're gonna go with that today, I think. See what we get. I pulled a couple other big palettes out, but I don't think that they make these. Ow. I don't think that they make these anymore, so I don't want to use products that you guys can't get a hold of if I can help it. And I'm hoping that they'll stay permanent for a while, so that even if you're watching this video in like 6 months to a year from now, you'll still be able to get them. So going into the Burgundy palette first, I'm just going to take some of this color up top. I'm not 100% sure what color it is. Quarry, I think. It's a matte. We'll go with that. It's like a dusty purple kind of color. So I'm going to take that first, and we're just going to lay that all in the crease. Now, MAC shadows are amazing. They're one of my favorite formula when they're done right, because unfortunately from time to time, MAC does put out limited edition collections where the formula for some reason falters or it changes a little bit. I know that I had that problem with the MAC Jeremy Scott collection. Like, it was all of these crazy bright colors, but the pigmentation was just not that great. But most of the time, MAC shadows are amazing. I particularly love their extra dimension shadows. They are my favorite. Their matte shadows are beautiful. I've still got a ton of blush right here. I just love them so, so much. So now that we've got a little bit of that purple going, I'm also going to go in with this color here. This is Texture. It's kind of like a burnt orangey kind of brown. I'm just going to put a little bit of that in my crease just to build it up a bit, give us something to work on top of. So I'm just getting like a blender crease brush, picking up a bunch of that, and we're just going to lay that all in the crease. And that mixes really, really pretty with that purple. Browns and purples do go really nice together. It's really nice. Nice combination. Got like a little eyebrow hair or something right there. Just like that. Now let's get into some of these like purple purples. So I've got 3. I actually used to have like a purple eyeshadow palette, but it has gone missing. I say missing, I've decluttered it. So I have a couple extra dimension shadows, and I have one Velux Pearl. So the Velux Pearl is in Stars and Rockets. I've also got Stylishly Mary, which is this purple extra dimension, and I've got Grand Galaxy. Now I know that they did discontinue a bunch of these, which is just too bad, but they do kind of re-release pretty often. So we'll just sort of see how we go here. So I'm going to start with the color Stylishly Mary. These are really, really good wet or dry. I just love these so much. They are super pigmented. So I'm going to scoot closer to you so you can maybe hopefully kind of see what I'm doing. Just kind of burying that all in the crease, just on top of that brown. And because these have a little like shimmer to it, it just sits so, so beautifully. just like that. So then we're gonna take this Stars and Rockets color. It's just a tinge darker than that last one. And I'm going to put that kind of on the lid a little bit and a little bit in the crease. Just start to build up some of that purple. Just like that. Then we're gonna take the Grand Galaxy color, which is kind of like a deep purple blue sort of a tone. And we're gonna use that more in the outer corner. Like that. Just like that. Now I am going to take a bit of this dark brown I have. This is in the shade Mystery. It's a matte shadow. I'm going to take a bit thinner of a brush. It's not quite a pencil brush. It's not quite as stiff, but it's just a little bit more precise. And I'm just going to pop that in the outer crease. Just to deepen it up a bit. Like that. Now, unfortunately, this next product I'm going to use is not still available, but it just seemed perfect. I've got one of these. It's got an eyelash on it that I thought was a dead bug, like a fake eyelash. These are these Shiny Pretty shadows. This one is in Joy 2. They're just the most gorgeous, like sparkly kind of, come on, toppers. This one has a little bit of brown, a little bit of purple in it, so I thought it was super appropriate. So we're gonna put that all over the lid. Now, they don't make these anymore, but they did recently reformulate their Dazzle shadows, and I'm guessing that they based, I don't know for sure, I haven't tried them yet, but I'm guessing that they based the reformulation kind of off of comments on this, because these, in my opinion, are kind of like Dazzle shadows on steroids. Just my opinion. So for the inner corner, we're going to dig back into this Burgundy palette. We're going to go in with this kind of champagne-y color. This is in Honey Lust. I actually might have this in a full size as well. If I don't, I decluttered it because I certainly used to. I'm just going to pop that in there, just for a bit of inner corner highlight. And then we're going to smoke out a bit of, I think I would like to do Stars and Rockets on our lower lash line as well. I'm just going to get a smaller, little more precise pencil brush. It's a little bit firmer. Sorry, I threw it on the floor. And I'm just going to carry that all underneath. And I'm just blending it into that Honey Lust color a little bit once I hit the inner corner. Just like that. So that is the basic part of the eye look done. For an eyeliner today, I am going in with my MAC Fluidline. This is in the shade Blacktrack. I think I got rid of my old one, so I've got a brand new one here because I can't find my old one. I'm just using a Too Faced Mr. Right liner brow brush, and that's only because I can't find my MAC one right now. This stuff is so juicy, so creamy, so easy to use. I love this so much. Like, if you are like me and sometimes you have a difficult time controlling a felt liner, this might be a better way to go. You get a little bit more control with a brush. And with this too, you could do it in sections. You could use the length of that brush to almost like stamp it in. Just takes a little bit of pressure off. I actually stopped using this for a long time, not because I didn't like it, but because I was getting into trying felt liners. And I've slowly like been just remembering why I love this so much and getting back into it. Like I said, it's really easy with this to stay close to your lash line. You're not using a ton of product. And as long as you keep it like relatively, the cap on relatively tight, it will last a long time. The one that I had that I was using, I'd had for years. I don't even know that it had really dried out. I think I just decided it was time to go. So that is pretty much our eyes done. It's time for mascara. Now, I don't know if they make this particular mascara anymore. This is the Upward Lash Mascara. I picked it because it's got a very, very thin brush, so it's really, really good for separating. It's really, really good for the lower lash line. But they do make other mascaras now that I have not tried, that I have not had the opportunity to. So I'm sure there's something in there that's comparable to this. MAC mascaras are one of the things that like they're less known for. They're good, but I mean, they do a lot of other products, excuse me, better. For example, their lipsticks are some of the best. Their blushes, highlights, those sort of things. Again, I'm not really a mascara snob. I think that there are great drugstore mascaras that you can use. Obviously, there's the big ones like the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. The Benefit mascaras, like the, I don't even remember, Roller Lashes, the one I use. So I did get some flecks of mascara kind of down here, so I'm just going to wait till they dry down and then we're just going to brush them away. As I've been sitting here longer, I have noticed some creasing, some caking, some separation. I don't know if it was a combination of products. I don't know if it was that pore refining stick. I'm not 100% sure what's causing that. It still looks really nice. It's not super obvious that it's happening. As a whole, it still looks really nice. It's just something that I'm picking up on. So now that our eyes are done, our face is done, it's time to get into a bit of a lip product. So I have a ton of MAC lip pencils here. I've already picked out my lip product. We're going to be using one of these patent paints. I thought this one, which is in Patent Pleasure, was so, so pretty. So I'm just going to dig out a... That's pretty close. I've got a liner that kind of goes with it. So I just use one of their regular liners. We've got Fruit Cocktail here. It's kind of a shade darker than the Patent Polish. It's just going to give a little bit of dimension. These are, I'm going to get you guys close so you guys can see how like little pressure I'm putting, how amazing these are. These are just so creamy. Like, I hope you guys are noticing it's not tugging at all. I love the Pro Longwear ones, but these ones are amazing as well. You could easily get away with just wearing like this out. It would look really pretty. But since I have this, let's use some. So like I said, this is in the shade Patent Pleasure. It's like a really pretty peach. I've been really into these lately because they're kind of a mix between a gloss and a liquid lipstick. They're very comfortable. They're very comfortable. They're very pigmented. So they give you a lot, they pack a lot of punch without being too drying. They're also not sticky like a normal lip gloss. I don't know if this was the best color combination I could have gone with, the peach with the purple eyes, but we're there now, so we're just gonna go with it. So like I said, once the mascara dries, you can just literally like fleck it away. Fleck it away. I am seeing a ton of fallout with some of that glitter, but that's okay. So the last step is going to be to set off face. So I have a ton of options for this. I'm just going to show you so you're aware of them. So there is a ton of Fix Pluses. They have these two. These are their Gold Light and their Pink Light. Basically, this is their normal Fix Plus, but it's got some like iridescence in it. Hoping you guys can see, one kind of reflex pink, one kind of reflex gold. They're a little bit shimmery once they're on the face. They look beautiful if you're like going to a wedding and you've got like kind of an open area like spaghetti straps or strapless, just to spray it all over your chest or shoulders. They look absolutely gorgeous. We're just going to use regular MAC Fix Plus. This one is the coconut scented one. It came out in the Fruity Juicy collection. They still make this. It doesn't come in this packaging. They have tons of flavors. They have lilac, rose, cucumber, coconut, and they just put out a new one that's like a radiance one, which I think is kind of along the same lines of these. Again, I don't have that. I don't find it necessary, but these are amazing. They're super refreshing. These you can also use as kind of like a refreshing mist. It doesn't just have to be as a setting spray. So it can be used as a setting spray, a refreshing mist. You can spray it on your brushes to give your shadows a little bit more impact. And it's fantastic. So that is the look we are left with today. A whole face of MAC makeup. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Like I said, there was some separation here, but I'm like 90% sure I know where that came from. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are able to get your hands on a ton of these products. They are fantastic. I think that like it's one of those things where MAC was such a big deal for so long, and then all of these other big brands started coming out. Kylie Cosmetics, Anastasia Beverly Hills, Hourglass, Benefit, Huda Beauty, you know, all of these other big brands, whether they were out before, but they started getting a lot of recognition, and MAC seems to almost like have gotten like brushed to the side for a little while, but they're still out there. They still have amazing releases. They still make amazing products, and I think it's totally worth it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what products do you have? What products are you getting? I always love hearing from you guys. If you're not already and you would like to be, hit that button and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.